Well, this is Jared here with Stampede Blue. This is your Indianapolis Colts preseason Week 2 2019 postgame wrap. And yes, that's right, the Colts lost at home yesterday to the Cleveland Browns. Final score 21 to 18. And first, we want to shout out Cleveland Browns fans. Hey, Browns look pretty good for the preseason. And then want to also seriously shout out Dearness Johnson, the running back USF, got about 13 touches and did very positive things for the Browns yesterday, and that looks good given that they just gave up Duke Johnson, right? So moving to the Colts quickly, because again it's the preseason, was particularly impressed with the step forward I saw the Colts take both on offense and defense this week. They played a little more spirited football. The wide receiver and tight end groups are stacked with talent, and that's where you're going to need them when you've got a quarterback like Andrew Luck, right? He just needs weapons. The offensive line, again, it's hard to evaluate when not all of your starters are playing. Similarly, on defense, the Colts didn't play a lot of starters. They stayed in a lot of base sets. They played base offense. But it was good to see Jacoby Brissett came out, was 8 for 10, and looked really sharp. Uh, Chad Kelly came out and looked really sharp, and Philip Walker had command of the offense, was moving the football. So when all three quarterbacks play well in the same game, and your third string quarterback's really the only errant thrower you have, and I know Chad Kelly had one or two too. That bodes well for that quarterback room. And remember, all along I've been kind of saying, if you listen to the podcast or read the work I've written, I think Jacoby Brissett is a starting quarterback in the NFL, and I'd love to see him get an opportunity and see the Colts get rewarded for helping him to mature into that starting quarterback in the NFL. And I think that the Colts have capable backups in Chad Kelly and Philip Walker. And I just like to see the Colts put themselves in even a better position for the future. And we all know quarterbacks don't come easy in the NFL. And then that wide receiver room, obviously, Ty, no Paris Campbell, but you saw Devin Funchess looked every bit the part. You saw Deion Kane, probably the Colts' offensive MVP, right? And then Marcus Johnson looks more than capable. Shout out Ashton Doolin, getting a lot of shine. He looked big for I thought he was a defensive player for a while, but number 9 got some shine last night. So yeah, the wide receiver room looks to be competitive. In my mind, I'm keeping Ty, I'm keeping Funchess, I'm keeping Campbell, I'm keeping Rodgers, and I'm keeping Deion Kane. And then a lot of people saying like Zach Pascal, Marcus Johnson, Ashton Doolin, Penny Hart. I mean, you've got all kinds of guys there vying for what I figure is probably about 6 wide receiver spots. And then moving along, when you talk about the tight ends, last night, no Jack Doyle or limited Jack Doyle. He had one catch, I think, right up the middle. Man, he was wide open too, and he had good yards after the catch. And then Eric Ebron had a couple really good catches, and it looks like he's really worked on his hands, which was kind of the knock coming to Indy, is that he had stone hands. But you can work on that, and you can always get better and improve every day. And I think he's starting to show it. He made a couple of difficult catches, on top of making a touchdown catch when there's 2 guys on him. And I get it. He just ran a better route. But the Colts heavily used their tight ends, and all their tight ends got shine last night. Hunter Henniges and Philip Walker had it going on in the second half, along with Deion Kane, right? And then Ross Travis caught a touchdown. But the tight ends were just heavily relied upon last night. So it was pretty obvious the Colts were feeding the tight ends, not as heavy on the run. But one of the things I liked that I saw was it seemed like the running backs were just getting upfield, and even when your running back gets 9 yards and out of bounds and doesn't get touched, and there's like 3 offensive linemen that beat him to the wall, that walled off the defense there, that's a plus play. That's a great football play. Anytime you can get yardage downfield and get your back out of bounds, it potentially stops the clock if that's, it depends on when where you are, when you are, right? In the NFL anyway, because it's a running clock inside 2 minutes, right? And then if you think about until inside 2 minutes. And then you think about Ware having a couple nice touches. Uh, Jonathan Williams, the Arkansas product, is, in my mind, a keep, right? So you got Mack, you've got Hines and Wilkins, and do you keep a guy like Williams? That you're going to keep a guy like Ware. So it'll be real interesting to do. Real interesting to see what happens here moving forward, because week 3 of the preseason, you should see most of your starters, or as many of the starters that you're going to see on offense. So really happy all the way around. Everything but the scoreboard. But again, it's preseason, right? Like, how emotional are we willing to be when the beers weren't even full price? Or at least that's what I'm presuming. Anyway, this has been Jared with Stampede Blue. This has been your preseason week 2 2019 post game wrap. Have a good Sunday, everybody.